called the Pacific Ocean, and you may call it by different names, and it's the same thing. But you have to take the trip, you have to make the journey, otherwise it's just an idea, and it's not a deep experience. And so interfaith, in beginning to add the practices that reveal the ultimate unity to people in direct experience, is starting to move in the direction that would, I think, please Vivekananda very much. That the realization of what he spoke about in 1893 could perhaps be experienced in reality by more and more people. Let me give you a suggestion that I found tremendously interesting. Most times in interfaith gatherings, people talk about their traditions, and they usually focus on the exoteric aspects of the traditions. And as I said, now they've begun to share practices. If you're in an interfaith gathering, and I've experienced this, and I'm grateful for the person who introduced it, get people to talk about their deepest experiences of the divine, sacred, the holy, whatever they choose, whatever language they use. If you get people from different faiths and you say, what was it like when you were most in touch with God, when you felt most intimate, most united, most unified with the divine? And you make a provision and you say, you can't use the language of your religion. So you can't say, oh, I felt Jesus loved me. You can't say I was in the presence of Allah. You can't say I experienced nirvana. You can't say I had a glimpse of Atman. You have to just use regular, ordinary language. What you find is no matter what their tradition is, and it's not always easy for people to do this, but if you do, you get them to do it, you find that they all start to sound the same. They'll talk about inner peace. However they got there. They'll talk about maybe a vastness of awareness without boundaries. They may talk about being in the infinite presence of a loving presence or something. But if they don't use the particular language of a religious tradition, you start to see the commonality. So you say, well, to a Muslim, well, what do you feel when you pray? What is your inner experience? Or to a Christian, what do you feel in Mass on a Sunday morning on Christmas Eve? If you ask a Jew, what do you experience when you are engaged in the chanting of the Hebrew phrases in the Torah, and so on and so forth, whoever they are, even witches and pagans, whoever, you will find the same deep inner experience. And that is the true unity. Unfortunately, most Americans don't take time to have that experience. They'd much rather, they just show up on holidays, certain occasions. And they'll show up at interfaith gatherings. But now, if interfaith gatherings start to also include periods of meditation and periods of shared rituals and practices, then they start to have these same experiences. And if they talk about it and they realize they really are one with one another. It's not just talk, it's experience. And if they resist the practicing, because they have such busy lives and they have no time for it. I came across a quote from Gandhi that I find very useful. Apparently, because Gandhi was a very busy man. He didn't have to take his children to soccer games and the dentist and all that, but he was driving out imperial power, so he had a busy life. And he once said, looking at his calendar, today I have so much on my agenda, there's so much to do today, I'd better meditate for 2 hours instead of just 1. I'll leave you to think about that. Thank you.